Whether you operate one forklift or thousands, one location or hundreds, the new My Toyota customer portal can help you optimize your operation and material handling equipment. This one-stop, free-to-use platform is designed to help you take control of your information and make smarter decisions, all at the touch of a button. Register and access your data today at my.toyotaforklift.com. That's my.toyotaforklift.com.
The New Warehouse Podcast, hosted by Kevin Lawton, is your source for insights and ideas from the distribution, transportation, and logistics industry. A new episode every Monday morning brings you the latest from industry experts and thought leaders. And now, here's Kevin.
Hi, this is Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast. I'm at ASCM 2019 in Las Vegas, and right now I'm joined by Mike Rossetti, who's the Director of Sales at Conversight. Conversight does voice, like Siri is the way it's described to me, but Mike will talk more about it, and what we're going to talk about, I think, a little more specifically is their Where Voice component, which helps with data analytics and retrieving data in the warehouse setting. So, Mike, how are you? How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me today, Kevin.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what Conversight is and how it works and kind of how the idea came about?
Mm-hmm. So Conversight stands for Conversational Insights, and our founders, we're about a 3-year-old startup based out of Indianapolis.
Okay.
We're definitely a mature startup, though, in that our founders spent many years at Cognizant and worked with a lot of different companies and saw a lot of the frustrations that companies had based on the expense they were having with report generation, difficulty in being able to access data, and then not being able to make business decisions based on that data because of the expense and the time lapse.
Got it.
So they launched Conversight basically with the idea that through Siri or Alexa it's so easy to get information.
Yeah.
And they said, why can't it be that way for business? Mm-hmm. Why can't you just ask a question of your data and immediately get an answer? Yeah. So started to build a natural language platform that basically allows users to access their data through voice-based conversation or a type chat.
Interesting. Okay. So now how does that work in the Where Voice? Mm-hmm. Where Voice is like I guess that's the one component of Conversight, right?
Yes. So okay. Where Voice is one of our applications.
Right.
We have several applications. In the warehouse space, what Where Voice does is I'll talk about a specific use case. We started working within a warehouse in Indianapolis called Mavpak.
Okay.
About 100,000 square foot warehouse. And
I'm familiar, yeah.
The challenge they brought to us was they were facing, they had a lot of turnover in the warehouse. So forklift operators, they were having major issues with mispicks and problems that they were dealing with that they wanted to be able to solve. So through the data, we were able to actually transmit through headsets information to their forklift operators on items to pick, quantities, things like that. Mm-hmm. But they could also report back into the WMS by voicing in if there was any damage or quantity issues or anything like that. On the back end side, their director of operations used to take a lot of time creating reports, putting things together, and following orders. And with Conversight, he's basically taken what used to be a 20-minute operation and can now do it in about 2 to 3 minutes from an ordering perspective.
Oh wow, that's like a
so
big
it's really
improvement,
simplifying them. So.
Interesting. So now the data is being captured on the side of the operator, right? Mm-hmm. And then the operations manager is then taking that data. And so when the operations manager is retrieving the data, they're doing so by voice as well?
In many cases. In certain applications, it's going to make sense to use voice. If you're on a mobile device, you're out and about, and you just need a quick item. In most cases, if you're on a laptop, you're going to type in your request.
Okay.
So you'll type in, show me open orders due today or something like that, and it's going to return a report for you that's then clickable, shareable, and able to be easily created in a pinboard setting that can also be shared out.
Got it. So but if I'm thinking in terms of like operations manager. So if I'm on the floor and say having like an impromptu meeting or something with my leads or something, and I want to look at see, pull really quick, what you said, open orders, right? Like, what are my open orders? I could just say it to the phone and it'll pull it up.
Yep.
That's awesome, I think, because, so many times as operation managers, you find yourself in the warehouse and, carrying your laptop around is kind of a burden sometimes, and sometimes it could be dangerous too, for distraction, but also for the laptop too. Sometimes there's some laptops fall off pallets, being used as desks. But being able to just pull it up, especially as you're walking through, because as you walk through the warehouse from an operations manager standpoint, sometimes you see something that you weren't thinking about, and it calls it out to you. So to be able to just pull it up like that really quick is really convenient.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what other use cases does Conversight have? So like WearVoice is the one application, but you guys have multiple applications.
Yeah, our other main focus right now is a product called Sales Voice, which is geared towards the world of sales and customer service. Yeah. So even warehouse and logistics company and supply chain companies that have large customer service teams and need to give them access to information about orders, inventory, quantities, things like that. Again, just having that tied into your CRM, into your ordering system, anything like that allows people out in the field just to quickly access information that they used to have to call back into the office or check in with an assistant or something like that. Report generation, being able to give that to customers from a transparency point of view, I think is really helping a lot of our companies to keep their customers abreast of what's going on with their orders and their shipments and things like that.
Okay, very interesting. So Mike, thanks so much for being on the podcast. How can people find out more about Conversight?
Sure, they can visit our website at www.Conversight.ai. Also, you can look us up on Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere like that too, and we'd love to share that information.
All right, definitely, yeah. We'll post all those links on thenewwarehouse.com, and thanks again for being on the podcast.
Thanks, appreciate it, Kevin.
Hey guys, it's Kevin again, here with the New Warehouse Podcast. So that was part 1 of this episode, and I was happy to talk to Mike about Conversight. And Mike mentioned about Mavpak and the Director of Operations. So actually in part 2 of today's episode, we have Nick Campbell, who is of Mavpak, Director of Operations, to talk about Conversight. So here you go, part number 2. Hi, this is Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast. I am joined today with Nick Campbell, who is the Director of Operations for Mavpak. So in our original segment, talked about Conversight.ai. We talked to Mike Rossetti about that, and Mike told us about the product and the solutions that they provide, and Mike is with Conversight.ai. So we're going to talk to Nick today actually about, of course we're going to give him a chance to tell us about himself and talk about Mavpak, but we're going to talk about how he's actually using the Conversight suite of products and how it's helped his company improve overall and how they're kind of utilizing it in a real world sense. So Nick, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you having me on.
Definitely happy to have you. So why don't you tell us a little bit, I guess, about your background, your Director of Operations, and tell us a little bit about Mavpak and what it is you guys do out there in Indiana, correct?
Sure, correct. We are located in Indianapolis, Indiana, right in the center of the state.
Okay.
As said, I'm the Director of Operations for Mavpak. Been in operations for about 26 years, and Mavpak is a packaging distribution company. We serve about 200 customers right here in our area, providing packaging solutions, whether that is common warehouse supplies or some very unique packaging answers and solutions to some very tricky products and shipping needs that they have.
Okay, great. So you guys are definitely involved with warehousing and distribution yourself of your own items, and you guys are obviously in touch with your customers who are other distribution centers and warehouses. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're definitely the guy we want to talk to in terms of experience, right?
Yeah, hopefully I can answer any questions that you might have and give some great insight to Conversight and how it's really transformed our business and our operations.
That's great to hear. So now why don't you tell us, I guess, what need did you guys identify in the first place that kind of led you to Conversight?
Really, as a young company, we're a startup company, and we were a small company with very few employees when I started, and really gaining data out of our system was very difficult, quite honestly non-existent. A lot of the decisions that we made were made by gut feel, and I'm a very data-driven person, and just even from a resource standpoint, we didn't have anybody in the company that could really mine that data and provide that data for us.
Okay.
And when I started with the company, that's really one of the roles that I started to fulfill, was digging into the system, extracting data, and really making data-based decisions on a day-to-day basis.
Gotcha. Okay. So as a startup company, now what kind of system did you guys start out with?
So really, we started off with just straight QuickBooks, and while QuickBooks is great from an accounting standpoint, really from a data extraction from any kind of a warehousing and inventory model, it was very much lacking. And the reports that existed inside of QuickBooks, it's very canned and honestly very limited when it comes to really drilling into some details that the company was needing as we make decisions to grow and expand.
Definitely. I can see that. Especially, you talked about how you guys were making decisions on gut feelings. And we know in supply chain operations, logistics world, gut feelings are not always the best way. Data is pretty much king, right?
It really is. And that's really, kind of the phase two of what we started doing as we were extracting the data. We were just doing humongous data dumps out of our system, raw data, CSV files, and we couldn't get everything we need in one. And I found a significant chunk of my time when I started with the company was just merging report after report together, sometimes merging 5, 6, 7 reports together, getting pretty complex to really give us a summary report of what we were looking for. And I was spending anywhere, honest to goodness, from 10 to 30 hours a week creating reports to provide that data, because it is so important that we want to make the database decisions, but at a huge cost of time. And that's really where Conversight, we saw the advantage of Conversight. And honestly, I told Ganesh this, that when I heard about Conversight, I truly thought it was too good to be true, and that there's no way that we could integrate an AI system into our business that would really work as smoothly and seamlessly as what I found that it really does.
Really interesting. So now, how did you guys, I guess, end up starting to utilize Conversight, and how have you, I guess, because obviously you start off probably small, I would imagine, maybe not, but how did you kind of start off utilizing it in the first way for you, and then how did you kind of expand that, and how are you utilizing it now?
Sure. That's a great question, and probably a little bit of a shocking answer when you hear what I have to say with it. I assumed, like you just mentioned, that we would start slowly and little bit by little bit. After meeting with the Conversight team, within 2 weeks, our systems were integrated together. And I began to use Conversight on a daily basis with one main purpose, and it was to disprove that Conversight would really work, and to disprove that it was not as easy as what everybody was saying from the Conversight team. And much to my surprise, right out of the gate, 2 weeks after we met with the Conversight team, the data that I was able to extract, just like you're able to speak to Siri, to speak to Alexa, we were extracting data right out of our system using Athena, the Conversight AI model. And just, it was transforming what I used to spend 10 to 30 hours a week on. I was able to truly accomplish writing queries in seconds. Like within seconds of speaking, it would produce the data in complex data joins from complex data tables. It would produce the queried results in seconds. So we started right out of the gate, not in baby steps. We loaded all the data, and it was functional within 2 weeks, and it truly has become a part of our team.
Really? So talk me through, I guess, like an example of when you're utilizing it, like when you're going to speak to Athena, and what are you going to ask Athena? Like what's an example maybe that you do? I'm sure there's like reports that you look for like every day. Like how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll speak from a couple different perspectives. From a salesperson's perspective in the field, real time, whether they're in a vehicle getting ready to go into a customer or sitting in a conference room directly in front of a customer. If there's information that's needed on year-to-date performance with that customer, if they want to know what total year-to-date spend, you can simply ask Athena, what is the total year-to-date spend for X customer, and it will deliver the results. You can go down to as micro detail as you want to ask Athena by customer, by SKU, by month. You can get detailed pricing reports. So basically, the way that we've taught our team is any question that you would ask a human sitting behind the desk, you ask Athena, and Athena will produce those same results. It is incredible. I'm going to call it the intelligence that is built into Conversight.ai.
Really? That's pretty incredible.
We'll be back after a quick break.
You hear a lot about supply chains these days, because if the past couple years have taught us anything, it's that an efficient, well-managed supply chain is absolutely critical to keeping businesses successful and consumers happy. I'm Will Haywood, and I host a podcast called All Business, No Boundaries, where we talk about supply chains, how they work, what happens when they don't, and the innovations that are redefining what's possible in the world of logistics. Join me for insightful interviews with thought leaders and industry experts. We discuss how optimizing supply chains can break down the barriers that are holding businesses back. That's All Business, No Boundaries by DHL Supply Chain. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
So I guess because when I first, started talking to Mike and, heard about it at the ASCM conference when they were there, I guess I was picturing from like a warehouse management standpoint, utilizing it, because you can utilize it from your phone, correct? Like just like you would speak to Siri? So, yeah,
absolutely. From your phone or from your computer.
Interesting. So, yeah, because I was imagining, walking through the warehouse and, I see something and, it makes me think about something. And right there, I just pull out my phone and ask it a question for some information. Is that kind of how you can utilize it? Am I thinking of it in the right way?
Yeah, it is. It's every module of our ERP system Athena is tied into. So whether you are wanting to know something from an inventory standpoint, inventory on-hand standpoint, vendor sourcing standpoint, what is the cost for this item? What is the resale for this item? How many units have we received this year? How many units have we sold this year? All of the modules are tied together through Conversight.ai, and Athena will give you the results of whatever verbal query that you ask it, or whatever query that you type. So it's not just limited to sales data, inventory data, down to margin performance. So one of the things we've done is spent a little bit of time to create margin dashboards. So for the president of our company, he can go in and see margin performance. And from a base query that we've provided, ask any variety, any flavor of this query to get real-time instant information.
Really interesting. So, and then the other thing too is that, so data is inputted from the operator level too by voice as well. That's correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so like you have I'm trying to picture, I guess, the flow of the data. So like if you have, pickers out on the floor and they're inputting the data that they're picking, or what are they inputting?
So from a warehouse personnel standpoint, so integrating Athena into your picking module, you can truly pick by voice. So as you initiate a pick, Athena will walk you through and tell you what location to go to pick the product, the part number that you're picking, as well as the quantity from that location. You can confirm or cancel that pick, as well as, and this is, in my opinion, is what sets the gap from Conversight.ai to other pick-to-voice systems, is if everything goes perfect, right, that's fairly easy, to be honest with you, nowadays. But if there's an issue to where the operator goes to whatever location they're directed to go to, and you find that there's product that might be damaged there, you can interact with Athena and request a new pick location because of potentially damaged product. And just simply through speaking in those direct terms, Athena will then reprocess the pick and direct somebody elsewhere, and then have the option to, through the system, quarantine the product that is potentially suspect. So truly real-time interaction, as you would with a person, as you would with a manager. So it's just that, again, the intelligent side of the pick-to-voice should an exception or an error occur, is really what sets Conversight.ai apart from any other system out there.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, because I'm thinking about, my experience. I'm an inventory control manager as well. So, all day, people have either location is short a piece or, there's damaged pieces,
sure.
like you said. And, they're coming and they're saying, well, I'm supposed to pick from here. So now what do I do? Because I need one more piece, or I have two damaged pieces.
Right.
And you got to go through the whole thing. You got to look and see where is it. So having them being able to do that in a controlled way instead of a rogue way, definitely makes a huge difference to the operation. I think it keeps the operation flowing a lot better. That's pretty awesome.
It does. And if you think about it from an efficiency and or a disruption standpoint, every time an employee has to stop and break that process and manually intervene with the manager, wait on the manager to become available, then a manual lookup and a decision to be made in the system, you're cutting out all of that real time and being immediately directed to the next available pick location. From there are what's called business insights, operational insights. And you can drive automatic alerts to a manager or to a inventory control person of a potential non-conforming lot of material in a specific location. So all that is driven instantaneously and automatically.
That's awesome. So then for the inventory, team or a quality team, then they can just, ask Athena to tell them what locations have been called down and just go check them out and fix them, right?
Absolutely.
Wow, pretty amazing stuff. So what else have you seen in terms of overall improvements since you started using Conversight besides, what we mentioned so far? Like, what do you think has been probably the biggest takeaway that not only you, but maybe the organization as a whole has seen?
I would probably answer in a threefold reply on this. One, the organization as a whole has gained instant access to data, which has completely eliminated the basis of making decisions on gut feel or opinion. So we know we have hard factual information from which we can make decisions and progress forward. And it's a lot more accurate than going off of a gut feel. And that has been rolled out to the entire organization. So instant access to true data is I would say, number one. Two, the efficiency in the organization personally that I have picked up. When I mentioned I'm using 10 to 30 hours of my week that I was spending creating reports and pulling data together so the company can make those database decisions, it's given me a huge amount of capacity back. The other answer to that without Conversight.ai is hiring additional manpower, hiring a data analyst or an informatics person, and we all know that is not an inexpensive decision to make with ongoing reoccurring costs.
Definitely.
So it helped avoid and manage our true cost to the business. But then the third piece to that question that you had asked is the interaction beyond simply extracting data from the system that Conversight gives you is real-time interaction with, for lack of a better term, I'm going to say interactive forms. So as our sales personnel are in the field, Conversight.ai gives them the ability to verbally place orders through interactions and essentially an EDI link, if you will, think in the background, but allows them to verbally place orders for products that pump through directly into our ERP system. So the interaction to truly input data into our system, whole different ballgame. Up to now, we've been talking about extracting data from the system. We're now using Athena to input data directly into our system and save dramatic time of data input from our customer service team. So that is the phase that we're in now, functionally using that technology every day. And as we look at our business, there is more and more opportunity that we're finding to truly integrate Conversight.ai and Athena with data input, not just data extraction.
That's pretty incredible. I like that. It also makes me think, as you're talking about how people can just kind of input data, I think about people that maybe are not so data centric. so to speak, in the operations world. And, it kind of makes it more friendly, I guess, for them to be able to utilize data in a better sense. I mean, there's just, different people and different things that they're good at. And some people with data, I think that they get a little scared. But being able to just speak to it and have it give you what you need instead of, having to know how to run one report or maybe run 2 or 3 reports and have to merge them together to get what you need, is definitely a big leap in terms of improvement.
It sure is. And to that point, as we talk about people running multiple reports manually, multiple reports together, the risk of data corruption, when you're talking about merging those reports together, you have a high potential for data corruption. And the use of Conversight.ai and Athena to truly pull different tables together and join the data seamlessly in the background simply by speaking to Conversight.ai and Athena. It's that makes report creation and data extraction, data merges seamless and non-technical to the end user.
Awesome. Yeah, I can see the improvement, and I can hear in your voice the excitement you have using it too. So
I'm a little bit of a data nerd, I have to admit it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I am too. So yeah, we're on the same page. All right. So how do people, I guess, find out more about Mavpak and what you guys do? I know actually I talked to Laura Steele on one of our episodes about Hendricks County and what you guys are doing out there, talking about the pallet games and stuff.
To find out more about Mavpak, you can go to www.mavpak.com, and that's spelled MAVPAK.com. As you mentioned, we put on an incredible event in the spring of every year in April called Pallet Games, where we get to celebrate the warehouse workers in our community. We typically open up around a 700,000 square foot facility for some incredible track and field type games focused in the warehouse distribution area. That's a lot of fun. It's just like a big party for 2 days this coming year in 2020 that we'll be having. We have a lot of food, a lot of fun, and a lot of competition. We have a lot of great teams of warehouse employees showing up to participate and have some fun in the coming year.
Definitely, yeah. I saw the recap video and everything. It looks like a ton of fun. It's an awesome event, and we'll definitely put some more information on that at thenewwarehouse.com. So, Nick, thank you so much for joining us today and talking about Mavpak and Conversight as well.
You've been listening to the New Warehouse Podcast with Kevin Lawton. Subscribe and check us out online at thenewwarehouse.com.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want more content from the New Warehouse, check out our new video series called All Hands on LinkedIn. Just search for the New Warehouse on LinkedIn and follow along.